Come on, man, I've seen this trick before. Stand up, you'll walk just fine. Let's not play games outside a courthouse.
I'm not playing anything, Deputy. My legs don't work. They haven't since the bullet hit my spine.
Convenient story. Folks lie to stay out of cuffs every day.
Then watch. All the strength I got is in these arms.
Deputy, maybe let...
The body camera was already rolling when the deputy said the words out loud. Come on, man. Quit playing games and stand up. A black man sat in a wheelchair at the bottom of wide courthouse steps, his hands tight on the rims, his jaw locked. Snow sat in dirty piles along the red brick walkway. Phones were already lifting in the crowd. The white deputy leaned in closer, his shadow falling over the man's chest. I don't buy it, the deputy said. I've seen guys fake worse than this. What happened next would spread across the internet in hours. It would cost a career. It would crack open a town that liked to believe it was fair. And it would prove that dignity can be louder than force, especially when the whole world is watching. Before we get into this, take 1 second and subscribe to the channel if you believe stories like this matter. And drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. These stories belong to all of us. Stand up. Now. Deputy Aaron Whitlock's voice was flat, bored, like he was asking someone to move a trash can. The man in the wheelchair looked up slowly. His eyes were dark, steady, and tired. I can't, he said. Come. Quiet. I'm paralyzed. Whitlock laughed. Not loud. Just enough to cut. Yeah? Funny how that works, he said. You were rolling pretty fast a minute ago. A woman near the steps whispered, Oh my God. A teenager raised his phone higher. The man in the chair, Malik R. Thompson, felt his chest tighten. Not fear. Not pain. Something heavier. The kind of hurt that sits behind the ribs and doesn't move. I have a spinal injury, Malik said. T9. I can show you my. Whitlock stepped closer. Too close. I didn't ask for a story, he snapped. I asked you to stand. Malik didn't look like a threat. That was the thing that he wore, a faded blue sweater that had lost its shape. Olive pants with frayed cuffs. His wheelchair was scratched, old, the left wheel squeaking when he turned. At first glance, he looked like someone people passed every day without seeing. A man out of place. A man easy to doubt. But Malik Thompson had once been 6'2", fast on his feet, unstoppable on a college basketball court. He had led fast breaks. He had heard crowds roar his name. That was before the bullet. 8 years ago, a stray shot tore through his spine outside a corner store while he was breaking up a fight between kids from his block. 1 second standing. The next, the ground rushing up. Doctors used words like permanent and unlikely. Malik learned new words: balance, pressure sores, patience. He never learned bitterness. He became a youth mentor. A quiet one. He spoke slow. He listened more than he talked. Kids trusted him because he never pretended to be something else. Today he was at the courthouse to testify for one of those kids. A kid who couldn't afford a lawyer. A kid who needed someone to stand in front of a judge and say, he's more than his worst day. Malik didn't know if he would even get inside now. Whitlock circled the wheelchair like a bored predator. You got ID? The deputy asked. Malik reached into his jacket and handed it over. Whitlock glanced at it for half a second. You live around here? Yes. You always hang around government buildings? I'm here for court. Whitlock smirked. Court, huh? You a defendant or just causing trouble? A low murmur moved through the crowd. Malik felt heat climb his neck. He kept his voice even. I'm a witness. Whitlock bent down, face inches away. Malik could smell coffee and mint. For who? For the defense. Whitlock straightened and shook his head. Funny? You don't look like anybody's defense. That one landed. It always did. A man in a suit nearby shifted but said nothing. A woman tugged her child back. Most people watched like this was a show they didn't pay for. Whitlock reached for the wheelchair handle. Let's see how real this is, he said. Don't touch me, Malik said, sharper now. Whitlock yanked. The chair tipped forward. Malik's body lurched. His hands slipped. For a split second, gravity took over. Malik cried out, not in pain but in shock. What are you doing? He yelled. The crowd gasped. Phones shot up everywhere. Whitlock let go, annoyed. See? You caught yourself. Legs working just fine. Malik's hands trembled as he gripped the wheels. His heart pounded so hard it hurt his ears. I caught myself with my arms, he said. Because I don't have legs. Whitlock's face hardened. Enough, he said. Stand up or I'll help you. A young woman finally spoke. He said he's paralyzed. Whitlock shot her a look. Mind your business. Another voice, older. Deputy, this doesn't look right. Whitlock didn't turn. I've got this. That sentence carried years of power. A badge. A gun. A town that rarely questioned men like him. Malik felt small. Not because he was sitting. Because this moment was being stolen from him. He thought of the kid he was there for. He thought of the judge upstairs. He thought of how tired he was of explaining his body to strangers. I'm asking you one last time, Whitlock said. Stand. Malik lifted his chin. I won't, he said. And you shouldn't ask again. Something changed then. Not loud. Just a shift in the air. A black SUV rolled to a stop at the curb. Clang. Government plates. Two men stepped out. Suits. Earpieces. They didn't rush. They didn't shout. They looked straight at Malik. Then one of them looked at Whitlock. And his face went tight. Whitlock noticed the silence too late. He turned, still confident, still sure he was in control. He had no idea who he had just put his hands on. The red light on the body camera blinked once. Deputy Aaron Whitlock didn't notice it. He was too busy watching the two men from the SUV walk toward him. They moved with purpose, not hurry. That kind of walk came from years of knowing rooms would make space for you. Whitlock squared his shoulders. Gentlemen, he said, forcing a smile. This is an active situation. The taller man spoke first. His voice was calm, low, sharp, like it had been trained that way. Step away from the wheelchair. Whitlock blinked. Excuse me? Step away, the man repeated. Whitlock laughed once. You got no badge. No uniform. Who are you supposed to be? The second man leaned forward slightly, eyes locked on Whitlock's chest camera. We're here for Mr. Malik Thompson. Whitlock turned slowly and looked down at Malik for the first time without anger. Malik sat very still. His hands were steady now. His breathing even. His eyes met Whitlock's without fear. Mr. Thompson? Whitlock said. This man? Yes, the tall man said. That man. Whitlock scoffed. You his lawyers or something? The tall man reached into his jacket and held up a badge. Not a sheriff badge. Not local. Federal. My name is Everett Klein, he said. United States Department of Justice. The sound that came from the crowd was soft but sharp. Like a breath being pulled back. Whitlock's smile froze. And this, Klein continued, nodding to his partner, is Agent Rosa Delgado. We're here as observers. Observers? Whitlock repeated. Yes, Delgado said. Because Mr. Thompson requested federal presence after repeated incidents of harassment during court appearances. Whitlock's mouth opened, then closed. Malik finally spoke. I told them about men who didn't listen, he said quietly. Men who thought my body was a lie. Whitlock looked down at Malik again. This time something new crept into his eyes. Uncertainty. Klein turned slightly so the crowd could hear. Malik R. Thompson is a federally recognized civil rights advocate, he said. A consultant for the DOJ on disability justice and police conduct. Phones shook in hands. He is also, Klein added, a recipient of the Presidential Community Service Award. And a former intelligence analyst for the United States Army. A murmur rolled like thunder. Whitlock felt his stomach drop. Army? Federal? DOJ? Malik didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He simply said, I was trained to stay calm under pressure. Delgado stepped closer to Whitlock. Deputy, she said, did you order this man to stand? Whitlock swallowed. I was assessing. Did you touch his wheelchair? She asked. Whitlock hesitated. The crowd leaned in. Yes, he said finally. Delgado nodded once. That's assault. Whitlock's head snapped up. What? Klein lifted a hand. And we have it on camera, he said. Multiple angles. Whitlock's face drained of color. Klein turned to Malik. Sir, he said, respectful now, do you wish to file a complaint? Malik thought for a moment. Yes, he said. But not for me. Whitlock frowned. Not for you? For the next person, Malik said. Who won't have cameras. Or suits. Or people who listen. That hit harder than yelling ever could. A courthouse security officer rushed down the steps. Deputy Whitlock, he said nervously, your supervisor is on the line. Whitlock didn't move. Delgado spoke again. You are being relieved of duty pending investigation. She reached for Whitlock's arm. Whitlock pulled back. This is ridiculous, he snapped. I was doing my job. Klein looked him dead in the eye. No, he said. You were abusing it. The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't clap. They watched. That was worse. Malik felt something loosen in his chest. Not joy. Release. A young black boy in the crowd whispered. He didn't stand. His mother squeezed his hand. No, she said softly. He didn't have to. Whitlock was led away, his shoulders no longer broad. His voice gone quiet. The red camera light blinked again. Klein crouched beside Malik. You okay? Malik nodded. I've been through worse. Delgado smiled gently. You shouldn't have to be. Malik looked up at the courthouse steps. I still need to testify. Klein stood and offered a hand, not to lift but to steady. Let's go, he said. As they moved, people stepped aside. Not because they were told to. Because they understood. At the top of the steps, Malik paused. He turned back to the crowd. I didn't lose my legs, he said. I lost your excuses. Then he rolled inside. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss stories that matter. And tell us this in the comments. What would you have done if you were there that day?